Good morning. All right, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. We are going to be continuing on the topic of pre-qualification, how to take more listings, putting you in a position where your listing appointment listing taken ratio is, of course, going to continue to get better, stronger, and capturing more listings. We're going to be getting some role play in today. So if you want to get some role play, becoming a little bit better when it comes time to asking questions, how to be better equipped. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's pick up with where we left off. We were talking a little bit about keeping your script with you at all times. Now, this is important. I'm just going to reiterate just 30 quick seconds, just making sure that you have it everywhere. Okay, so you want to be able to have the script. Now, if you don't have the script, as usual, I'm going to encourage you to please one of two things. Number one is you can go to my website. My website is very simple. It's www.therobertvillanueva.com. Option number one. Or option number two is, of course, to send me a DM and preferably over on Instagram, and I'll get my team to get the scripts over to you, which of course does include that of the pre-qualifications. So have the script with you at all times, whether it's a printed version, a digital version. I will encourage you to have both because there are going to be some times where you have no connectivity. I don't know if you've ever been there, but connection sometimes is an issue. Sometimes you don't have access to your phone, just, it dies or whatever it may be, or you have it on your tablet or whatever it is. Sometimes electronics, in a sense, fail you. So always have multiple different versions with you at all times. All right. Now, practicing in role play. Now, this is something I encourage you. I'm going to give you guys my uh, basically role play routine. Okay. This is back when I was in full production, something I would encourage. This is something I encourage of all of my coaching clients. So, my coaching clients, if we haven't talked about this, definitely something I'm going to encourage you to look into. So the very first thing is I would always be in the office, usually about 6:30 in the morning. My first role play would always be at 7 o'clock. My second role play would be at 7:15. So I'd have a 7 a.m. role play, a 7:15 second role play. I do this Monday through Friday. There's no day off, no days off. Okay, so basically every single day I'd have my Monday 7 o'clock person, I'd have my Monday 7:15 person, I'd have my Tuesday 7 o'clock, my Tuesday 7:15 person, so on and so forth. Okay, and then what I would also do is Tuesdays and Thursdays were days that I would work on presentations. And on presentations, most often than not, there would basically be 8 Tuesdays and Thursdays throughout the month. I would have 6 of them be listing specific, and then 2 of them would be buyer specific. Okay. So on Tuesday afternoon, usually about 12 o'clock, I'd do that. And I'd only have one role play partner at that point in time because the role play at that for the listing presentation does take a little bit longer. And then in case you're wondering how you do that, well, I would pre-qualify on one day, and then the following Tuesday we would basically go through the actual listing presentation or buyer consultation subject to that pre-qualification. But I would work on my pre-qualification, which is what I'm getting to. So I would work on my pre-qualification on that Tuesday and or Thursday. And I do that basically almost every Tuesday and Thursday. Okay. So I'm going to encourage you, get role play partners, because if not, guess what? You are role playing and you are working on your skills. The problem though is that you're doing that on the people that you're calling. As you may or may not know, Lisette and I run a team here in Central Valley. In Central Valley, which is basically Central California, right between Bakersfield and Fresno. We have pretty close to about a dozen agents that work with us. And the one thing that we do hear very commonly is the room for improvement on skills. And in that, as we talk to our team members, we let them know, hey, look, we got to get more role playing. We got to do this. We got to do that. And what ends up happening is, of course, just like everybody else, there is the resistance. There is a little bit of hesitation. But at the end of the day, we're hearing these calls, 100% of them get recorded. We're listening to these calls and we're playing them back. And it's like, what did you take away from these calls? And as they're going through, we're listening to the calls. It's just on a scale of 1 to 10 on average. Don't mean to beat my team up too much, but there is room for improvement. Everybody does. But there will be like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. So as I tell them, as I'm telling you, as I tell my coaching clients, you're not that good. Okay. Plain and simple. You're just not that good and you have to keep working on it. Even myself, doing it for a long period of time, I get rusty, I get crusty. So I'm going to encourage you, you got to keep that skill sharp. Okay. And then again, of course, Lizette, if you have any insights or anything you want to add, feel free to just jump right on in. Now,
Yeah, I think I just mentioning it from the other day how I've never been on the athletic side. That's not who I've grown up to be. However, obviously we do hear of these superstar athletes, and I do like to relate real estate in a sense to a sport because it is. I mean, um, even though I'm not in that athletic space, I do know that these athletes, they've become great because they've practiced over and over and over. And so it shows, once they're in the game.
Yeah.
And I think that we're in that similar type of space where our practice shows when we are in presentation mode. Otherwise, we've talked about this. Otherwise, we're practicing on our clients
Yeah.
when we should be practicing right now, when we're not with our clients, and we can actually have that back and forth with somebody who has a different understanding of the business.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is really important that you guys understand what Lisette is mentioning. I want you to think of for a second here. Let's think outside the box based on what Lisette just mentioned. Who comes to mind when you think of um, your favorite athlete or the best athlete ever or the best whatever basketball player, football player? Who would that be? Type it in or shout it out. Who would that be? Anybody? Type it in. Who is in your opinion, is it Michael Jordan? Is it Tiger Woods? Is it Tom Brady? Who is that? Think about that.
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana. Okay, got that. Okay. Who else?
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry. Love that. Chris, who do you got?
Roger Federer, tennis.
There we go. Okay. Now, what I want you to get at is I want you to think of course, this is everybody, is think of who is that athlete. For me, it's Michael Jordan. Okay, Kobe Bryant. I'm a baseball person, but I can respect and appreciate that. Or for that matter, like love or dislike, even Tiger Woods as an example. But everybody that was mentioned, do you think they practice the same amount or more than everybody else? Just think about that. Now, the epitome of all time, I would venture to say 7, 8, 9 out of 10 would say Michael Jordan is the best athlete of an entire time. Most of the time, Michael Jordan and Kobe follow the exact same routine, would in most cases practice 3 times more than they would play. Michael Jordan was quoted that I practice so hard that by the time I get to the game, it should be easy. Okay. Now, what does he mean by that? Because he practices for 6, 7, 8 hours a day and then goes plays a 90-minute game. So what Lizette is basically referring to, yet you're on the opposite side of that, and we do the nah, I'm good. I don't need a role play. I don't like scripts. It just doesn't sound like me. I'm just going to kind of continue to shoot from the hip. And guess what? I'm cool with just being mediocre of a realtor, a lender, a salesperson. So I want you guys to understand the importance of role play. And I just talk about this all the time. Do you guys think I'm pretty decently skilled? That doesn't happen by accident. That's 4 to 6 hours a day over an entire decade. That's 10 years worth of work. I put in the time, energy, and effort to do that. Yet you're sitting there yourself getting a little bit confused about, well, I did role play that one time last week. Think about that. Okay. Now, let's talk about when we pre-qualify. Okay, when we pre-qualify. When we pre-qualify these people, I want you to think of a couple of different scenarios and situations. There are some standards. Now, I do want you to pre-qualify as quickly as you possibly can. There is a very specific rule that I follow with expires. Expires, I want to pre-qualify them right then and there. If I go through, I set the appointment, I'm going to go jump right into the pre-qualification instantly. Have you ever called expires before? They're hard to get them to pick up, let alone to go through, set an appointment, and then tell them you're going to call them back later and then get them to try to pick up a second time. Good luck with that. So with expires, I would pre-qualify them right then and there. Would 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock later today work best for you? Perfect. Now, before I come over, there's a number of questions I wanted to ask you. And then I just jump right into the script. However, let's say everybody else. The rule that I want you to follow, other than expires, I want you to pre-qualify 2 days before your appointment, 48 hours. 48 hours before. Now, the reason you're going to pre-qualify 48 hours before, as an example, if the appointment is on Friday, you're going to pre-qualify them on Wednesday. The reason you're going to pre-qualify them 2 days before is because the next business day, in this scenario, Thursday, you're going to send them a pre-listing packet. Okay, you're going to send them a pre-listing packet. And then, of course, once they get the pre-listing packet, you're going to call them back just simply to confirm. When do I confirm? I always confirm within 12 hours. Okay, let me explain. The appointment is Friday at 5 o'clock. I'm going to go through and I'm going to pre-qualify them on Wednesday. It doesn't matter what time. I'm just going to do it at Wednesday. Me, preferably, I would always do it right around that lunchtime. I'm going to tell them I'm going to pre-qualify you between 12 and 1, 12 and 2, whatever it is. I always give them a window because there's a lot of you that'll sit there and say, okay, perfect. I'll call you on Wednesday at 12 o'clock. And then what do? You end up calling them Wednesday at 12:14. Okay. You've already given yourself a bad mark. So I give them a window. I go through, I pre-qualify, and then on Thursday, I send them a pre-listing packet. Now, what do you mean by calling back to confirm within 12 hours? Well, what I mean by that is because if I call back and confirm Thursday night at 4, 5, or 7 o'clock at night, hey, just want to make sure we're still good for tomorrow. There are going to be times, believe it or not, people do have a life, that they're going to go through and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot about that appointment. So what I do is if it's a PM appointment, that Friday as the example, I'm going to call them in the AM. And all I'm going to do is just simply pick up the phone and I'm going to give them a call. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, hey, this is Robert. I just wanted to confirm one of two things. Number one, did you get a chance to review the packet? Did you get the packet? Okay, perfect. I will see you guys later today at 5 o'clock. I just want to make sure that we're still on the same page for that 5 o'clock. Perfect. I'll see you then. Now, what if there are going to be the ever so often, ideally it's going to be 1 out of 10 appointments, that's going to be in the morning. Let's say, for example, we're dealing with a doctor, we're dealing with somebody who works at UPS, we deal with somebody who works the swing or graveyard shift and says, hey, I can only meet at 11 o'clock in the morning because I got to be in on call. I'm an emergency room doctor and I got to show up at 2 o'clock. So we can only meet at 11 o'clock or you're going to have to wait until Monday. I'm going to call them the night before. Okay, so I'll usually call them 5, 6, 7 o'clock. Hey, I just want to make sure we're still good to go for first thing in the morning at 11 o'clock. Okay, I just want to keep that window within that 12 hours is the ultimate purpose of what I'm trying to accomplish here. Okay, all right. Now let's talk a little bit about the rules. And again, anybody have any questions? Let's make sure we jump into that here.
Robert, I have a question. I think you just demonstrate the exact situation I'm in. I tried to set the appointment within the day, but he said he couldn't make it. So we schedule to pre-qual on Wednesday, and I will go there on Friday afternoon, like 4 o'clock. However, when I call him and when initial conversation, he said this is investment property and he's not sure what to do, but he would definitely sell within the next few months. So the distance is kind of 45 minutes drive.
Okay.
So should I still go or should I switch to Zoom meeting?
Well, in this particular case, I'm going to ask him, are you in a position to make a decision when we meet on Friday at 4 o'clock? That's going to be the very first question. If he says, no, I still need time to think about it because we're not going to go on the market. I get that, Mr. and Mrs. Investor. I guess my question is, just to be specific, is as if I can convince you that I am the right agent and you are comfortable and confident that I am that person, would you be in a position to make a decision to hire me on Friday at 4 o'clock? Don't worry about when the home is going to go on the market. We can worry about that later. That's going to be up to you. What I'm asking is I just want to be sure that I have the opportunity to earn your business. Would you be in that position? And if the answer is yes at that point in time, go out there. Okay. You meet with them on Friday, you sign with them on Friday, and the property doesn't go on the market until July 1st. That's okay. You just tell them you're going to be doing some pre-marketing, you're going to keep it off market, you're going to call your other investors, so on and so forth. But if they sit there and say, Ann, that they are not going to be making a decision and they are going to be waiting until July when the house is ready to make that decision, you can do one of two things because it's 45 minutes away. Okay? I don't like to do any sort of presentations, especially anything from a value and or a commission standpoint until they are ready to make a decision. Now, if you want to go out there just to preview the property and introduce yourself, make a warm introduction, that's okay. Let me ask you though, what's the price point of this potential deal listing?
Around 700,000.
Okay. So for Ann, your average price point is what? About 1 million, 1.1?
No, my average price is a 1.6.
Okay. So 1.6. So $700,000. I guess I'm asking you, is it going to really be worth a 45-minute drive for potentially, possibly, hopefully, maybe taking a listing?
I
Okay.
don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So unless they are ready to make a decision, then at that point in time, I'm going to say, okay, let's meet, but you got to be in a position to make a decision. Does that make sense?
Okay, so I will take that approach. But if
Yeah.
he's still wishy-washy, should I at least still meet him over Zoom, which require no driving at
Yeah.
all?
And you can meet them over Zoom and just don't talk about number one pricing and don't talk about commission.
Okay,
Don't
got
talk
it. I
about
will do
pricing, don't talk about commission. Because what you're going to do, anything that we do until they're ready to make a decision, they're going to dissect, over dissect, and absolutely break down all of those things that is going to work against us. And we want to remember that time works against us. It doesn't work for us. So the longer that window is, they're going to be talking to other realtors. They're going to be talking to somebody else. They're going to end up doing some more research. All of these numbers in a sense could change.
So what should we talk about if I go over Zoom when now the two things that critical for presentation
Yeah.
that we cannot provide?
Well, what you're going to do is you're going to get to know a little bit more about them. And what I love the opportunity to do is that here, let's role play this. I just wanted to confirm, though, if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident, are you prepared to make a decision on listing an agent when I come over tomorrow, Friday at 4 o'clock?
You know what, Robert, I mentioned with you, I'm still want to wait until summer to list, but I
Okay.
just want to know what else, we can do to prepare my home and get it ready.
Perfect. Now, let's say, for example, I do go into no matter what I say, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, no, 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 no. I'm not going to hire anybody until then. So now I'm going to go into, well, either way, Ann, what I'd love the opportunity to do is I'll go take a look at the property. I don't necessarily need to bother you. I'm really saying don't really waste my time. I don't need to bother you. I'm going to swing by the property on my own time. But why don't we still meet though? I'd love the opportunity to get to know with what it is you're wanting to accomplish. Can we meet via Zoom on Friday at 4 o'clock?
Yeah, okay, that's work.
Perfect. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about is, Ann, tell me what is it you're wanting to accomplish by selling this home? Are you going to, we don't have to role play this part. Are you looking to reinvest it back into real estate? Or are you looking to simply cash out? What price do you have in mind? And if they start probing and prodding and saying, well, what price do you think it is? Well, it's kind of unfair for me to give you a price. I can tell you that homes in the range of what's selling, but until we go on the market, and if that's not going to be until another 3 or 4 months, that could be a different price. So right now, I do know we have comparables from about 640,000 all the way up to about 720, 730,000. But without seeing your home and until we're ready to go on market, the best I can give you is kind of a range. Does that make sense?
Okay, I saw your approach. Yeah.
Yeah. So all you're doing is finding out what they're wanting to accomplish. What is it that they're wanting to do? Where would they move their monies to? Are you just simply looking to cash out? Cool. What would you do with those proceeds? Are you going to apply it to your primary residence? Are you going to pay down some other debts? What's the purpose? What's the benefit? All of, in a sense, these things. Does that make sense?
So should I show them calm or just talk briefly about that?
No, don't go into comps. Okay, don't go into comps unless they ask you. But I wouldn't even go into giving them in a sense of value. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a very generic version because you're going to be on Zoom. What you're going to do is you're going to go and say, well, let's take a look. Let's see what's available out there. As you can see, your competition within a mile radius based on your criteria of a home, there's 27 other properties that are either active, pending, or sold, ranging anywhere from about 400 to 75,000, which is not what I'm suggesting, to all the way to about 640, 650,000. But these are some pool homes. So what we can do is we can determine that value. What price do you have in mind? Well, we're hoping to at least get 700,000. Good. Well, why don't we do this? When you are ready, I'll look at these numbers a lot more specific and in detail. But right now, it really wouldn't be doing you any justice unless you're ready to make a decision and put your home on the market now. Are you? And if they say no, then there's really no point of going through this because all of these things could change, both in a positive and or a negative. Because as you can see right now, the 27 homes, there's 11 of them that are active. That is your competition. And by the time we go on the market, if those 11 are sold and we only have two as a competitor, you're in an advantageous situation. But if those 11 all of a sudden become 23, you're going to have way more competition. So we have to be a little bit more favorable on pricing. Does that make sense, Mr. and Mrs. Investor? So that's all you're doing.
Thank you. I will just do that. Thank you very much.
All right, let's get some role play here. So let me get somebody to volunteer. I'm going to share a script here. As I mentioned, we're going to continue to work on this and chip away at this. All right, so who's going to volunteer? Who's going to be that agent that wants to continue to get better, stronger, and be that next millionaire agent?
I'm going to do it again
Let's
since
do
nobody
it.
else is stepping up.
All right, let's do it. So, Lizette, can I get you to unmute? I want you to role play with Deborah. I want to get an outside perspective.
Okay.
Let's see.
Deborah.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Lizette.
Hi.
Hi, it's Deborah Patton. I know we have an appointment scheduled for tomorrow at 6. Now, before I come out, there are a few questions I wanted to go over with you. Do you have a few more minutes that I can borrow from you?
Of course, sure.
Great. Now, if everything I share makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident in my ability to sell your home, are you prepared to list your home with me when I come out tomorrow at 6?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason he's wide awake.
Great. Now, I don't want to assume, but are you planning to interview any other agents other than myself?
Not right now, Deborah.
Great. Now tell me, where exactly are you moving to?
Well, we're actually getting a newer home, so we just got under contract on a new construction, so we just need to make sure it aligns.
Great. Where is that?
Right here in town, just a few, well, it's actually on the other side of town.
Perfect. It's congratulations. I'm sure you're pretty excited about that. What's the time frame?
Yeah, well, I think we're at about 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months. Okay. Now, when I see you, do you have a price in mind that you want to list your home for?
I mean, I've seen what is on Zillow. I mean, I don't really know. But we're leaning more towards about 550 is kind of where we're
About
looking
five.
at.
Okay, about 550. Now, what price won't you go below?
Well, I mean, we wouldn't want to go we wouldn't want to go too much below that actually.
Okay, so you're looking to net about 550.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to prepare a net sheet so that we know more or less about what your profit's going to be and what the current balance. Tell me what's the current balance of on your home?
I'm not too sure. I could I could double check, but I think we still owe about maybe 300 around around that.
Okay, so about 300. Okay. So of course you aren't thinking about selling your home yourself, right?
What was that?
You're not thinking about selling your home yourself, correct?
No, no, not at all.
Let's go ahead and stop right there. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you, guys. All right, so let's get some critique here for Deborah. So Lizette, let me get you to give her some critique, and then I'll go after.
I just think the opening maybe just to make it a little bit more conversational at the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I know you went straight into, "Hi, this is Deborah," and then you went to the line. But just making it feel a little bit more conversational at the beginning. That was my critique. But I think she did really well. The other part of when they don't know how much is owed on the property, just reinforcing, okay, well that's okay. As long as you can have something, that way we can know exactly how much you want to net and make sure that they bring that to that appointment. But
Okay.
I think other than that, your tonality, your speed was great. I felt like it was a very comfortable conversation.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. So thank you for that, Lisette. Deborah, what do you think you could have done different or better?
Um, I definitely agree with Lizette. There were a couple of areas where I kind of fumbled a little bit, especially when she I said, so you want a net 500? And that's not a net. That's not, that's what they're looking to gross, right? And then also the just kind of commenting a little bit more, getting a little bit more engaged in the conversation.
Yeah, I think the one thing is one thing that I would tell my coaching clients, and I still would, is think of it. You're not talking to your best friend, but let's say you're talking to somebody you respect. I would say, like for example, like your pastor, or maybe an aunt that you think of highly. Anything from that perspective. Now we want to be respectful, but we also want to be cordial. We want to be a little bit on the jovial side of things. Overall, you did really well. I liked how you put it together. Very professional. You have a great tone. You had a great pace in the direction you were going. What I want to see though is a little bit of the questions between the questions. Okay.
Hmm.
Now let's use the exact same scenario, situation, and responses that Lizette was giving you, even if it's just a ballpark. And I'm going to give you a quick little example. So I'll be the agent. Now, Deborah, tell me again, where exactly is it that you're wanting to move to?
I'm looking to move to Murrieta.
Oh, nice, Marietta. Yeah, what's specific about Marietta?
Um, I just have family there, and they want me to be moved closer.
Yeah, absolutely. Who in your family's in Marietta waiting for you?
I have my sister and and my niece and nephew.
I love that. How did your sister feel about you guys making the move over to Marietta?
They've been wanting me to do that for a long time.
Yeah, I bet, I bet. So I guess my question to you is, how soon do you want to be there in Marietta and enjoying, the company of your sister?
Um, well, I'm thinking about July, at least by July, June, July timeframe.
Yeah, absolutely. June, July timeframe. Now, I must ask though, Deborah, if we were to sell this home in the next 30 days, would that be a pro or would that be a con for you?
It would be a pro.
Okay, good. Awesome. So you just want to make sure that you're not being rushed. You want to be paceful. You'd like to be there in that summertime, preferably in July, is with what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Now, is there such a thing as too late? Anything that you don't want to be on the other side of time frame wise?
Well, I don't want to move in the middle of summer.
Ah, okay. Well, July is
Mhm.
middle of summer. So,
True.
yeah,
I just want to move before it gets too hot.
there we go. Okay, good. So, anyways, you get my drift.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's it. Just keeping it jovial, being a little bit more casual, and then getting a little bit deeper. Just kind of tell me what's exciting. What is that
Gonna do.
benefit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So with the
Okay.
Lizette, you mentioned as far as being on the other side of town, is there a certain part of town that you don't want to be a part of, so on and so forth? Or what's special about this part of town? What are you guys most looking forward to? Whatever it is, just go in the direction of the responses that we're getting, and then just add
Okay.
to it. That's all we're doing.
Okay.
Okay. But
Can
overall, you did an amazing job. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything before I let everybody go?
can I add a quick comment? I think you're hitting the nail on the head because they need to be excited about meeting you. And if it seems like you might be boring, they might think, oh, this is going to be not a good experience, a fun experience. So I think you need to, kind of engage them.
Yeah, and let me add to with what you said, Chris. I appreciate the point out. I think sure on the boring side, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but I want you guys to think about going to the dentist. How many of you look forward to going to the dentist? Not very many people. I mean, you might look forward to the ending results, but the going through and the having to take time off and going there and getting numbed and all this other stuff, it's not for most people, at least not for me, the most favorable experience. So it's kind of like this. All right, I got to go through this process. I want to get there. I want to have clean teeth. I want to have white teeth. But the process of packing up, cleaning my house, getting my house ready for the market, going through all of the everything's so what Chris is in a sense saying is we got to get them from basically their version of the annoyance, agitation, frustration, 6, 7 to getting them to an 8, 9, or preferably a 10, because that's going to help them further along on making a decision. Yes, it is going to be a tough decision. And yes, there's going to be a lot of work that's going to be involved in getting you from point A to point B, but there's nobody better equipped than I am. So let's do this. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Lizette, any closing thoughts?
No, I think it was great.
All right, awesome, everybody. Well, I'll see you guys all tomorrow, 7:30. And then I want to make sure make sure you put it on your calendar. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I'm going to break down the entire prequel system in one shot. No role play in that. That's the difference. And I'm just going to go right at every single last point. As always, thank you guys so much. If you guys want scripts, do me a favor, send me a DM or go to my website, as always, www.therobertvillanueva.com. I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you soon.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.